In my opinion, this author is right up there with Serena Williams, Simone Biles, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Brady as the greatest of all time at her craft. The craft I'm referring to is literary journalism, and the author is Susan Orlean. But first, what exactly is literary journalism? Is it just journalism with a lot of fancy words and italics? Some universities refer to it as creative nonfiction, an even more questionable term because it implies that all other nonfiction is uncreative, or that creative nonfiction is concocted, which would make it fiction. I think literary journalism is defined by the singularity of the writer's voice and the artistry of the storytelling. And over the last few decades, my favorite literary journalist has been Susan Orlean. In 1992, Susan wrote a legendary cover story for Esquire, The American Man at Age 10, in which she described the life of a typical suburban boy. She wrote it with such wit and warmth and joy and such appreciation for the subtleties of the boy's life that I sent her a fan letter. And then I read her first book, Saturday Night, a portrait of all the things Americans do on a typical Saturday night. And once again, I was enraptured. When Susan's literary agent, Richard Pine, told me that Susan was ready to write her second book, I did something I'd never done before. I hustled over to his literary agency to pick up a copy of the book proposal in person. I didn't want to wait for them to send it to me. That project became The Orchid Thief, a true story of people who are obsessed with rare plants. Susan describes the title character in The Orchid Thief as having the posture of al dente spaghetti. And if I had to pick a single phrase to encapsulate what literary journalism is, that's the one. Since then, Susan has written a number of acclaimed and beloved works, including Rin Tin Tin and The Library Book. And this fall, we're publishing On Animals, a collection of her best writing about the many creatures she has encountered. It contains one of the magazine stories that first made me fall in love with her writing, a profile of a championship show dog named Biff. Here's how Susan's story begins. If I were a bitch, I'd be in love with Biff Truesdale. Biff is perfect. He's friendly, good-looking, rich, famous, and in excellent physical condition. He almost never drools. Almost all of Susan Orlean's work is about passion and obsession, and her passion for animals is present on every page of this book, whether she's writing about chickens or rabbits or donkeys, or a lady raising tigers in the backyard of her New Jersey home, or the world's most famous whale and movie star, Keiko, the star of Free Willy. Whatever the story is, Susan tells it in a way that makes you lean forward and pay attention and care. That's why I think Susan Orlean is among the greatest of all time. The GOAT, whether or not she's writing about animals. And that is the word according to Carp.